Good morning, everyone. It's been a while since I've seen everyone. I'm really glad to be back. But my name is Luke, if you do not know me already, and I'm the music director here. And to start off this service, we are going to have two songs, starting with hymn number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, followed by Rising Tide by Harold Payne. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by faith made strong the rafters will, and the battering of the storm is heard through all the world grow chill, will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and through these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in. Right here, right now, we are all connected somehow. Even a whisper in the dark becomes a prayer, reaches out, touches your heart. A rising tide lifts us all. Every drop of water helps to keep the flow. When you make a ripple in the river of life, we all will be lifted, lifted by the rising tide. We all have dreams of a world where we can all live in peace, and each act of kindness builds a bridge that leads us to a common ground. Beyond our differences, a rising tide lifts us all. Every drop of water helps to keep the flow. When you make a ripple in the river of life, we all will be lifted, lifted by the rising tide. I'm holding on to what I know we can be, in a season of possibilities. A rising tide lifts us all. Every drop of water helps to keep the flow. When you make a ripple in the river of life, we all will be lifted, lifted by the rising tide.
Thank you, Luke. Good morning and welcome UEC members and guests. We're back in church. So, I was talking to G before the service and thanking her again for her and Patty's generous hospitality at this year's barbecue. I always look forward to that. Thanks to our stewardship committee for all the work that it takes to put something like that on. Really amazing. And I was so glad that my fellow singer from the Kalamazoo Male Chorus, Kirk Roundhouse, was able to be there to share his music and his talents with us. We're both looking forward to getting back to with our fellow singers in the fall in September. So, my name is David Sanokal, and I'm happy to be your lay leader today and welcome you all here, whether in the sanctuary or joining us on Zoom or YouTube. Okay, a little bit of holy humor. I know you've just been waiting for that. Actually, it's not so holy, because the joke's on me, because sometimes you have to pay the devil his due. So, this past spring, my beloved companion Lisa and I were taking an Osher Lifelong Learning Institute class at Western, better known as OLLI. Some of you probably know that Stephanie Grathville back there is a faithful volunteer and student for OLLI. So one of our fellow students was Mr. Craig Vestal, now retired owner of Portage Printing on Center Street in Portage. And he plays in a local band called Duke and the Loose Cannons. So he brought some flyers to our last class, inviting us to Geezer Night at the Shakespeare Pub in downtown Kalamazoo. Geezer Night from 5 to 7, well before many geezers' bedtime hours. So Lisa loves to dance, and she cuts a fine figure on the dance floor, I must say. Me, however, I kind of considered my dancing days over. But we've been to a half dozen of these concerts now, and I enjoy, listening to the music, and they have a bar there where you can order food and adult beverages. A lot of camaraderie going on, and it's so much fun watching those old folks out there shaking their booties. So, Judy Sarkozy of Sarkozy Bakery has been there every time that we've been there. Judy and I are about the same age. She gets out there every time, I must say, and she has to use a white cane now. But she does it. So one time she latched onto me and said, I don't see you out there on the dance floor. You get out there. She said, you can take this out there. That is no problem. So I said, oh, okay. So the next time we were there, I went out there, for a couple of dances. So the band's up on a stage, which is maybe about waist high. So I had one hand on the edge of the stage, the other hand on this. And in between, folks, it ain't exactly Fred Astaire or Gregory Hines or even Arthur Murray. Although I did take an Arthur Murray class back in 1953 when I was about 14. My mother made me do it. That was okay. But the other thing is that I had a fan there that night. A lady that was sitting at the table next to us, and she noticed what I was eating, She said, oh, that looks good. What is that? I said, well, they're cheesy breadsticks. Would you like some? And she said, sure. So she had some. So they saved the last dance for me, so I went out there for the last dance. And when I came back to the table, she says, oh, young man, I just admire you for getting out there and doing that. I think you're a hero. I thought, well, I never thought it was so easy to be a hero. And it would have been nice to get a little credit for sharing my cheesy breadsticks. Okay, that's enough of that. On with the show. If you're in the sanctuary, be aware that the service is recorded for YouTube. Tables at the back are available if you prefer to avoid appearing on camera. Please refrain from talking during the recording to avoid unintentional broadcasting and silence your mobile devices. Thank you. Visitors can explore literature about our UU faith in the entrance and community room. You can also join us for social time after the service in person and on Zoom. Discover more about our church programs for children and youth and weekly opportunities to connect with us on our website, uucommunitychurch.org. Located on Shaver Road in Portage, Michigan, our church on ancestral lands of the Peoria and Potawatomi people proudly display a rainbow flag and Black Lives Matter sign, symbolizing our inclusive community dedicated to creating a just and sustainable world. We are a community on diverse spiritual journeys, and we enjoy hearing differing points of view from our minister, Reverend G. Ludwig McCartney, guest ministers, lay leaders, and guest speakers. And we start out our new church here with Reverend G on the platform. Welcome. Thanks to everyone contributing to this morning's service, our greeters, musician Luke, tech team, coffee hosts, and each of you. Your presence and contributions are truly appreciated. 2 announcements. The August edition of our newsletter, Community Matters, came out on Friday. It is packed with information about all of our upcoming services and events. If you are not on our mailing list, you can sign up on our website, uucommunitychurch.org. Our justice partners at Interfaith Strategies for Advocacy and Action in the Community, also known as ISAC, invite you to celebrate their work building the beloved community at their annual meeting on Tuesday, August 12th, from 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. To receive the Zoom link, email isaackalamazoo@gmail.com. Today, globally, Unitarian Universalists continue to light the chalice. As truth seekers, we pursue a resilient truth that withstands questioning and doubts. The flame serves as a constant reminder of our shared values, bringing them to life in our community. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Right, Reverend G.
I invite you to close your eyes. Is this mic a bit too hot? It's just perfect. Find a comfortable position in your seat. If you can, please uncross your legs, uncross your arms, and take a deep breath. Then as you breathe in, relax. And as you exhale, relax even more. Breathe in. Breathe out and relax. And as you breathe in, follow your breath with your attention. Notice how it enters your body through your nostrils. And then it travels downwards all the way to your solar plexus. And just pay attention to your breath. No expectations. Complete safety. You have no need for anything else in this moment. You're fully and comfortably supported by your chair. There's enough oxygen. You're safe. No past, no future, just now. Just allowing kindly, easily, effortlessly. And just notice as thoughts arise. Don't judge them. Let them be. Thank them for sharing their life with you and allow them to return to where they came from. Everything has a right to its life, even your most unwelcome thoughts. Just notice, no agenda, no expectation. No hopes for enlightenment. Just being present to this moment without past or future. And we give thanks that at any moment in time, we can choose to pay attention, bring our entire consciousness to this present moment. All it takes is breathe in, breathe out, notice, and let go. And for that together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you are ready, open your eyes and return your attention to this here and now.
I've seen my share of struggle and I thought that I knew best when I sailed straight through a storm, set a stop in the rest. And it always seemed the hardest when I made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like the water, coming down like a mountain in the shadowy canyon. Flown from pool to stream, wanna be like the water. Head uphill no more, I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always comes in home just fine. Guess he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like the water, coming down like a mountain in the shadowy canyons. Flown from pool to stream, wanna be like the water. Head uphill no more, I am bound for the sea. I let nature take its course, no more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectations and regret, Life has plenty of surprises for me yet. Wanna be like the water coming down like a mountain in the shadowy canyons, flown from pool to stream. Wanna be like the water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like the water coming down a mountain in the shadowy canyon, flown from pool to stream. Wanna be like the water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea.
Wonderful, thank you. Good morning. Welcome, we're back. Yesterday, I just wasn't so sure that I still know how to give a talk. And this morning, today, I'm still not so sure, so we will see. Ken told me earlier, just talk to us, just talk to us. So I'll do my best to just talk to you. Welcome here in the sanctuary. Welcome there on the holy interwebs, whether you're on YouTube, on Zoom. I love it that you're choosing to spend this time with us. And oh my goodness, it's just so good to lay eyes on you again. Okay, so, you know, July, when we take it off to relax, your staff is still hard at work. And we plan the following church year. So we had several meetings, you know, of 3-4 hour long meetings and shorter meetings. So then we come up, of course, with the theme, overarching theme for the year. So we were wondering what should it be this year. And then we thought, why don't we pick the biggest winner of all times? The one who's been around for billions of years, the one who's seen regimes come and go, the ones who's outlasted dinosaurs will surely outlast Homo sapiens. We're going to talk about water. And the reason we chose water is because it has so much wisdom. It has so much to teach us. And we thought, well, we will dig into this well and see if we can glean some wisdom that might sustain us, that might guide us, and that might also connect us more than ever before. So water it is. And today, I want to talk about two aspects of water: resilience and relentlessness. Resilience and relentlessness. That's a word, yeah? Okay. Resilience and relentlessness. And although it's August, the other day I went into a store, and guess what they had out? Thanksgiving stuff. And I thought, dear God, not already, but it's coming. And that means that we are also coming together at a large table, and there's going to be all kinds of people there. And some people voted one way, some people the other way. And then at this table we come together as the fracture of, as our society fractures more and more and more. And, you know, this past month, well, every day, the headlines, they are very concerning to me. It seems to me that the soil hardens beneath our feet into something narrower, into something less free. And I am very concerned, and I am certain that many of you share my concern as well, and so many other in the world. In fact, I was just thinking yesterday about the following thing. About 78 million people, I think, if I'm correct, voted differently than the outcome of this election, past election. And these 78 million people are not represented at all. At all. And in fact, if we are to be honest, this current government, if they could, they would punish every single voter for their vote. That's how unrepresented these 78 million people are. Well, that's a problem. Let me tell you a story. And the news came out that we had the jobs report, and it wasn't good. So the president fired the person who put the jobs report out. When I was growing up in communism, you'll hear a lot about this because, well, it's the direction. You know, when you step on a path, you can only go where that path takes you, unless you change the path. But if you're on a path, you can only go where it takes you. So you'll hear about my past experience of authoritarianism and communism. It was like this. There were these monthly meetings, and the workers had to go to these monthly meetings, and they were in a big hall. And communism, granted, is different than this country, and maybe you'll say, oh, gee, but that's not happening like that here. But the idea is the same. You had to go to these great meetings, and then there was the leadership. They are the ones who had the numbers. So they would report back to the workers, and they would tell them, okay, this is what we produced last month. The goal was this, and we've exceeded it. And then, you know, they just sit in meetings and say, okay, how many zeros should we add this month? By how much did we exceed the goal of production? And then they would just make up these numbers. And then they would present it to the workers, and then the workers had to clap. And then there was the Secret Service among the workers, and they were watching, and whoever stopped clapping first, that chair was just empty. And then you may or may not see that person again. And then you could never ask, but where did that person disappear to? Because guess whose chair was going to be next? Empty. And when communism ended, these big industries, big factories, folded within months. Because, of course, the true numbers now had a meaning. There was no centralized government to keep up a lie and to pretend that this is still holding. So a salary back then, before communism ended, you know, would be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It was lei, not dollars, it's lei. And then communism ended, and people overnight became billionaires. And you could buy a loaf of bread for 1 billion lei. Inflation just was rampant because now the reality hit. So when you walk on a path, when you go on a path, you step on a path, you can only go where it leads. If you are going to fire the messenger who tells you this is the job report, these are just numbers. Nobody's massaging them, nobody's lying about them yet. Then you fire this person because you don't like the message, then you go where that path leads. So then, we also have a choice. Do we also follow where this path leads, or do we try to interfere? Resilience and relentlessness. So, I know, and I know this from my own heart and my own soul, that I would love a savior. I would love somebody to come and say, we're rescued, and we are restoring democracy, and we're restoring kindness, and we're ending the cruelty and this horrible immigration situation, the deportation of the migrants, and everything is just going to go back, and we're going to be a strong democracy again, and human rights will matter, and I would love that Savior, but it's not happening. Because the Savior is you and me. In this time when truth is being systematically undermined, it's questioned all the time. It's up to you and I to tell the truth, and tell the truth all the time. And tell it in ways small, and tell it in ways big. And just be resilient. And if you are wondering, but I, as a single person, what can I do? Then think of this. What did you do during the previous administration? How involved were you in civic life? How involved were you? Assess it, be honest about it, and turn it up a notch. Just a notch. Go to some meetings, write some cards, make some phone calls. Anything that you do that is more than what you did in the previous administration is resilience. It is increasing the pressure like water. There is one thing that monolithic powers, that dams that we build to contain water, dams are our way to telling water, no, you're not going to do what you want to do. But water has one thing over dams, is time. Honey, I've got time. Water understands tiny fissures that are not visible to the eyes. Water understands how to seep there, how to find it, how to seep there. Water creates new pathways and rediscovers old ones. Water is resilient because it doesn't believe that everything that it had done in the past, it must do the same way again. Water has no problem forging new ways while constantly heading to the sea. Water understands its destination, and it's willing to find the path of least resistance. If frozen, it will find the cracks, it expands it, it makes the cracks bigger. Where are the cracks and fissures in this government where we can seep in and then make it bigger? Water, if evaporates, then it goes beyond the boundaries of the dam and it falls on ground. And then it becomes part of the underground, I forget the word, aquifer. Beyond the aquifer, which connects everything. We are that aquifer. We are the ones who have to connect. We have to strengthen the community. And we have to remind ourselves we are headed to the sea. And the sea is equal justice under the law. And the sea is racial justice. And the sea is end of cruelty. And that's where we are headed. And we do that resiliently and relentlessly. If they are a stone, a monolithic stone, we are the water. And the stone always loses, my friends. The stone always loses. The water finds ways, the water is wise, and the water is relentless. And it isn't so relentless in force as it is in patience and consistency. Patience and consistency. I don't think that much would change just by us going and protest on the streets. It's necessary. But it's more important in us showing up for meetings at school boards, running for seats, city councils, strengthen the local journalism, and we tell the truth. We tell the truth all the time. And we tell it as we were with our children, patiently. No, honey, the sky isn't made of spaghetti, and no, honey, the election wasn't stolen. And then we will remind all the time, tell the truth all the time, in ways big, in ways small. I'm wearing this shirt for a purpose. It just says, get lit, and it's books. I have another shirt that says, I read banned books. I want to tell the truth all the time, in ways small, in ways big. I want to send a message. So if you see it and you see it, you understand that we're all part of the same aquifer, that we're allies. And then we create relationships maybe with unlikely allies as well, as long as we are all willing to head to the same sea. Equal justice under the law, decency, compassion, democracy, where truth-telling is no longer a weapon. When truth is no longer a weapon, but it's shared truth that we can build a shared future upon, that is strong, that is honest. Thanksgiving is coming. And it might be tense around some tables. And it doesn't mean that we have to go head to head. Do as water would. Gently, resiliently, relentlessly. Stand for who you are. Tell the truth. What else is there? Don't walk on the same path that the current government would want you. An authoritarian government needs maximum loyalty. It needs to tell the story that is simple. Things are bad. There's things to be afraid of. There are bad people among us. That's why things are bad. If we deal with the bad people, things are going to get better. And as long as you completely trust me, then things will be fine. Just don't question, follow me. I know exactly what I'm doing. Never question me. That is the simplistic story of every authoritarian regime under the sun. So may we embrace complexity to understand that no stories are that simple. Nobody deserves our loyalty without question. Nobody. Nobody. People can earn it. But nobody just deserves it. Nobody can force it out of us. So we be like water. Knowing who we are, knowing what we stand for, what our nature is, and what our destiny is. It's the sea. Democracy, equal rights under the law, fairness, no more cruelty. Can we overcome the damage that has already been created and that keeps being created? And water tells us yes. And it doesn't just tell us yes, it also tells us how to. Because the stone always loses. It lost in my home country. We didn't think it was possible. But in fact, if I really think about it, it only lasted 4 generations. And I know that's a long time. But in the big scheme of things, it's a blink. Sure, in that time, many people were hurt, many lives were diminished, futures were destroyed, but it was only 4 generations. And resilience, relentlessness, overcame that awful regime. This past election in Romania, they ran a candidate, a Trump-like candidate. And he received a lot of support from Russia through these bots. And he ended up being disqualified because of that. Think about that. It's possible to do that. They proved it, that he didn't play fairly, and they disqualified him. And so instead, the new president of Romania today is a PhD mathematician, staunch supporter of democracy. He has a very great record. I never thought that one day I would say this about Romania. I had always such horrible feelings about it because for me, Romania and communism were the same thing. And we were, as Hungarians, we were so discriminated against. And it's changing. It's all possible. With resilience, with relentlessness, and hope. Hope that we maintain in each other. So, Thanksgiving is coming, and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You don't have to fight big fights. Stand in your truth. Tell the truth. And sometimes you have to seep into little cracks. Sometimes you can be a little bit more massive in your flow. And know what's called for in the moment. Know the difference. And in the long run, we will be all right. The stone always loses. Some of us won't see the end of it. But those who come after us will. So here's to hope. Here's to resilience. Here's to relentlessness. And here's to finding our way back to our beloved sea of democracy, of freedom. And so it is.
At the beginning of the service, I should have mentioned that Reverend Harold Boy conducted 2 services in July, one of which I was able to attend. So thank you very much for doing that, Reverend Harold. Our lives are filled with many blessings. Let's come together with gratitude and love to share a part of these gifts to support our religious community. You can show your love by giving in a practical way to keep our space vibrant and share our positive message. Look at the screen for ways to give, and our ushers are here to collect your offerings. Together we make a meaningful impact through our shared generosity. Thank you, Luke, for your appropriate choice. Since we're talking about water, the raindrop prelude. As we extinguish the chalice, let us remember to keep the flame awake and alive in our souls, and let the light of the chalice bind us together, showing us the way. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And after Reverend G's closing words on the postlude, we'll have joys and concerns.
Practice holy resilience. Live love, speak truth, and hold on to hope. And so it is.